Someone dying, blah, blah. Is it a happy poet? Anyway, this is poetry. It's quite a long one, so I may interrupt it with some humour. It's Finley A. McKinnon. His book is You Asked for a Poem. Finley McKinnon actually is the grandfather or great-grandfather of a very good friend of mine in the back there, Jimmy Bailey, who's a local, been around a long time. And that's him with the afro. Just kidding, Jimmy, just kidding. Also, a good friend of ours is Diane. I call her Auntie Diane. She's sitting down at the back there. She's a good friend. So I'm surrounded by friends, too. I want to ask a question. Why are Americans terrible at geography?
Okay.
I mean, you don't know shit. This is no lie. I was in here about 6 months and I got talking to a gentleman. So I'm talking to him about 20 minutes, I assumed he knew where it's from. And he said, about 20 minutes, he said, Ray, he said, let me just stop you for a minute. I said, what's up? He said, I want to congratulate you on how quickly you learned the language.
Oh, no. That's embarrassing.
I said, well, you know where I'm from? He said, yeah, in England. He said, well, you picked it up just like that, I said,
That's sad.
Have you ever heard the Beatles or James Bond? Where they from? He said, yeah, but he said, you got it, man, you got it. So after that, I just say, well, I went to night school. But people don't ask me too much anyway. Can you understand me?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, where I grew up in Liverpool, they do speak two languages, English and rubbish. But anyway, I'll continue. Who's the timekeeper? How we doing?
You're great, man.
I mean, last time I heard Daddy kicked me out.
Give him the hook.
Did you have a poem? Or
Yeah. I wonder when you get to that. Actually, Jimmy's background is Irish. All his parents, grandparents, and he's got a famous uncle who we won't talk about because he had kind of a, let's say, a difficult life. But anyway, when I met Jimmy, actually I met him on the plane going to Dublin. So he got friends and he invited me to go to his family for a dinner. So I showed up and I said, what's on the menu? He said, well, Ray, he said, my mom's going to cook a real good, old-fashioned 7-course Irish meal. I said, what's that consist of? He said, 6 potatoes and a bottle of milk. So we ate that, and it was very nice, and I asked Jimmy, I said, when are we going to go to the pub? I love the Irish pubs, best pubs in the world. He said, well, I've got to go to confession. He said, the church is just down the road. He said, walk along with me, and I'll be out in 15 minutes. So walked along to the church, and so I sat on a bench outside. He said, come on, you can come in. There's a seat outside the confessional. So I went in and sitting there, and Jimmy went in, and the priest said, pull back the, what do you call it? I'm not Catholic.
Curtain.
Whatever they talk through. He said to Jimmy, he said, hello, my son, how can I help you? So Jimmy said, well, you want, give me a minute. He said, I do have a confession to make.
Oh no.
I did something very bad last night. And he said, I'm a married man with children, but last night I had sex with another woman. And I'm here to make a confession. So the priest said, well, how did that happen? You know, I thought you were a good family man. He said, I know, and I regret it for the rest of my life. The priest said, well, who was this person that you had sex with? Jimmy said, well, I'd rather not say, you know, it's kind of a personal thing. So the priest said, well, you have to tell me for me to give you proper, complete confession. So he still wouldn't tell him, and the priest kept asking him and asking him. You know, eventually he said, I can't, I'm sorry, I just can't tell you who the lady was. He said, well, in that case, he said, I can't help you. He said, why don't you leave and come back when you feel like you can tell a truthful story. So, but before that, the priest was trying to help him and kept saying, well, maybe I can help you, because I got a lot of ladies that come through confession, as well as men. He said, was it Tessie O'Shea, that trollop who works at the pub across the street? Jimmy said, no. He said, how about Maureen McConnell, who lives round the corner? Jimmy said, no. He's scratching his head, and he said, well, all I can mention is one more. He said, was it Irene McCulloch? Jimmy said, no. He said, well, leave. He said, well, please leave. He said, I can't help you. So Jimmy came out, and I was sitting on the bench. I said, did you get forgiveness? He said, no, but I got 3 great leads. How about, you don't want the poetry?
I'm Matt.
Matt is going to give me a few more minutes. Yes, I do. This is for Jimmy in honor of his great-grandfather. That's the truth, actually. And his name is Finley McKinnon. Like I said, it is a bit long. How do the glasses look? I love the dollar store. What are you laughing at? If you keep laughing, I'll leave. Okay, this is called A Letter to the Editor of the Telegram News. The poor shanty Irish came in for a job from the pen of a writer they say is MacNab. Now I make hold to ask you, why was he allowed to make that assault without buying a shroud? He writes up. Thank you. Told you he was a nice guy. Take me to parties and just the money. He writes of the place where his betters were reared in a cynical way. So now war is declared, and someone has dusted the coroner's slab to receive the remains of that writer, MacNab. The banshee has broken the bars of her cage, and she's prowling around in a terrible rage. She is scantily clad, for the weather is hot, and that pan made her sore in a sensitive spot. She is weeping bedad, but her tears soon will dry, and the fires of vengeance will blaze in her eye. When that writer is called on the official mats, his bones will be picked by the Kilkenny cats. By the way that he writes, sure it's a plan to be seen, but he never held hands with an Irish colleen. A good Irish stew never tickled his tongue, and he never heard songs that the Irish have sung. When he's crossing the skies, Irish death bells will toll. For a misguided writer, that's losing his soul. The dogs will sit up and they'll bay at the moon. Ah, there's MacNab on his way to the tomb. Thank you very much.